The day we moved into Maplewood Drive, Karen was standing in our driveway before the moving truck even turned off its engine. Not to welcome us, not to introduce herself. She was holding a clipboard, a tape measure, and an expression that could curdle milk, and she was measuring our mailbox. "You're 4 inches over the approved height," she said, not even looking up. "That's a $200 fine, payable within 48 hours. My husband Marcus and I stood there, boxes in our hands, completely speechless. We hadn't even unlocked the front door yet. That was our introduction to Karen, president, treasurer, and self-appointed supreme ruler of the Maplewood Homeowners Association. And if we had known then what we know now, we would have turned that truck around, driven straight back, and never looked back. Karen didn't just run the HOA, she weaponized it. She had our neighbor David's truck towed on Christmas morning because it was parked 2 inches past the driveway line. She reported elderly Mr. and Mrs. Chen to the city for a wind chime she claimed was a noise violation. She fined the Robinsons $1,500 for a garden gnome. A garden gnome. And every single month at those HOA meetings, she would stand at that podium and publicly humiliate whoever was on her list, reading out names, violations, and fines like a judge sentencing criminals. People were scared of her, and Karen loved it. What nobody knew yet, including us, was that Karen was hiding something, something that would eventually burn her entire empire to the ground. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. 6 months into living on Maplewood Drive, Marcus and I had already racked up $2,300 in fines. Our porch light was too warm. Our fence stain was one shade too dark. Our welcome mat was deemed aesthetically inconsistent with neighborhood standards. Every single fine was Karen, every single time. But the moment everything changed wasn't about us. It was about Lisa. Lisa was a single mother, 3 doors down, working double shifts as a nurse just to keep her house. One evening, Marcus and I watched from our window as Karen stood on Lisa's porch, loudly announcing, loud enough for the entire street to hear, that Lisa was 3 months behind on HOA dues and would be reported to the lien attorney. Lisa stood there in her scrubs, just off a 12-hour shift, tears streaming down her face, as Karen smiled and walked away. That smile broke something open in both of us. That night, Marcus and I went door to door, quietly, discreetly. We sat in living rooms and kitchen tables at Maplewood Drive, and what we discovered was staggering. Karen had collected over $47,000 in fines over 4 years. No formal audits, no transparent accounting, no oversight whatsoever, just Karen, a bank account only she controlled, and a neighborhood too intimidated to question her. We started documenting every fine, every towing receipt, every tear. Karen had no idea the couple she fined for a mailbox was about to become her worst nightmare. If this story is already making your blood boil, like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe so you never miss our stories, and drop a comment telling us where in the world you're watching from. Marcus worked in municipal law. Karen never bothered to ask. That was her first mistake. Her second mistake was filing a formal complaint to have us removed from the neighborhood, claiming we were deliberately disrupting community harmony. She submitted it to the county with forged signatures from neighbors who had never signed anything. She was so drunk on power, she didn't even cover her tracks. Marcus spotted the forgeries immediately. But before we took that to the authorities, something even bigger fell into our laps, and it came from the most unexpected place. Karen's own sister, Diane, had quietly moved out of Maplewood Drive 2 years earlier without explanation. Nobody knew why. When one of our neighbors bumped into Diane at a grocery store and mentioned Karen's latest reign of terror, Diane went very quiet. Then she said 7 words that changed everything. "Has anyone looked at the HOA's incorporation papers?" We looked. What we found was jaw-dropping. The Maplewood HOA had never been legally incorporated with the county. Not properly. Karen had filed deliberately incomplete paperwork back when she seized the presidency, which meant every fine, every lien, every towing authorization she had issued for 4 years was legally unenforceable. $47,000 collected under a fraudulent organization, and the bank account registered solely in Karen's personal name. This wasn't just abuse of power anymore, this was fraud. We took everything, the forged signatures, the incomplete incorporation, the personal bank account records, and we quietly handed it to a real attorney. Then we did something Karen never expected from a neighborhood she had spent years terrorizing. We organized. Every household on Maplewood Drive, every single one, signed our proposed neighborhood agreement. A simple, fair, transparent document with no fines, no power trips, no Karen. Within 30 days, we had county approval to formally dissolve the HOA. Karen received the dissolution notice on a Tuesday morning. We heard she read it 3 times before it sank in. Karen didn't go quietly. That was never going to happen. She showed up at our door screaming the morning the dissolution notice hit. Marcus opened it calmly, looked her dead in the eyes, and said, "Any further communication goes through our attorney." Then he closed the door gently. Not a slam, just a quiet, deliberate click that said everything. She tried calling an emergency HOA meeting. Nobody came. She posted threatening letters in every mailbox on Maplewood Drive. People photographed them and sent them straight to our attorney. She called the county commissioner's office, demanding the neighborhood agreement be invalidated. The commissioner's office called us instead to verify the fraud complaint we had already filed. The investigation took 4 months. The results were devastating for Karen. The district attorney's office charged her with fraud, forgery, and misappropriation of collected funds. The $47,000 she had accumulated in that personal account, forensic accounting showed less than $12,000 had ever been spent on actual neighborhood expenses. The rest? Gone. Vacations, personal shopping, a bathroom renovation in Karen's house, the same house she had used as her throne to rule over everyone else. The neighborhood watched as Karen was walked out of that house in handcuffs on a Wednesday afternoon. No dramatic music, no audience, just consequences. Finally, undeniably, arriving exactly where they belonged. She pleaded guilty 8 months later to avoid trial, paid full restitution, lost the house to cover legal fees and judgments. The last we heard, Karen had moved 3 states away, and Maplewood Drive, 3 years after dissolving that HOA, our neighborhood is unrecognizable in the most beautiful way. Lisa paid off her lien and finally planted the garden she always wanted. The Chens hung 6 wind chimes. The Robinsons have an entire army of garden gnomes now, and we celebrate them every time we walk past. Marcus and I host the annual block party every summer, and not a single person brings a clipboard. We replaced a weaponized HOA with something radical, basic human decency. And it cost us but the courage to finally say enough. If Karen had just been a decent neighbor, none of this ever had to happen. But then again, neither did her downfall. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button, share this with every neighbor you know, and subscribe because we have 4 more stories just like this one coming your way. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We see every single comment and we appreciate every one of you riding with us. See you in the next one.